That was followed by the fifth couple, which was Jeanette and Evan, doing a Tony and Melanie Rhumba to Heartless, the song that put Chris Allen on the map over on American Idols last season. I think I kind of understood what Mia was getting at when she said, I don't know if I really want to see Evan be sexy, but we know he can do it because of the work he did with Randy earlier on when they were partnering before they started mixing and matching everybody. I mean, there were some dances they did where you thought you just needed to phone in and just tell those two to get a room. In spite of the fact that Randy was already spoken for, that's how hot they were. So I think that Evan can still do that. Bringing out the Latin sexy, I don't know if he can go that far. I mean, that's like bringing out the African sexy. I think he can hold his own when it comes to stuff like that, but there's only so much he can do, but still, the guy is great to watch. And of course, there's the fact that he was paired up with Jeanette, which didn't hurt a bit. So I think they did a pretty good job with that, even though it wasn't a magnificent job. So following that was the fifth solo, as I mentioned before, by Melissa, to Heads Will Roll by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. She's an elegant, beautiful dancer, great ballerina when it comes to that, but if you look at her solos from the past all the way down to here, it was plie, pirouette, pirouette, plie, plie, pirouette, blah, 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 which she tried to cut down on that this time and do a little bit more of a contemporary feel to her solo. But I think she couldn't help the way she carries herself because it still came across as very ballerina-ish. So I think it's a case of too much, too little, too late. Melissa, I love you, but I still think you're going home. So that's all I can say about that. The sixth couple was Brandon and Janine doing a contemporary piece from a new choreographer, LAURIEANN GIBSON, and they performed this to Jordan Sparks' Battlefield, which is a song that I can take or leave pretty much, even though I really like Jordan. But the piece to this was just amazing. It was very powerful. LAURIEANN is very much in that Mia Michaels mode when we first saw her and didn't really know who she was, where she was coming from in the early days of So You Think You Can Dance. So I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And Brandon and Janine did a really great job on that piece. So I think they've cemented their position for yet another week. The sixth solo was from Evan to Old Devil Moon by Jamie Cullum. Like I said before, 30 seconds, not enough. I could just sit back and just watch this guy go all day long. I mean, he's just that much of a joy to watch, and he obviously loves what he does. I mean, if he didn't, he would have never gotten this far, and we wouldn't have remembered him from the previous season when I was really hoping that he wouldn't lose heart or lose hope or faith and decide to stick in there and try out at least one more time, and thank God he did, because here he is. I don't get the sense that he's going to be going anywhere either, so great, Evan. Bravo. The seventh solo followed him from Janine to Let the Drummer Kick by Citizen Cope, one of my favorite artists, by the way. She did things a little bit differently, and I appreciated that, where I didn't really get so much into it with Melissa, because Janine's one of the fierier dancers, and she's, of course, there representing for Miami with the spicy salsa, Rhumba moves and everything, but she definitely brought contemporary feel to hers as well, but they contrasted because it was kind of a surprise coming from her, so she wasn't doing the usual shimmy, shimmy, shake, shake the hips to something like by Perez Prado or from Carlos Santana or something like that. But yeah, I really appreciated Janine's solo, and I thought it was very well done. Every once in a while on most seasons, there's one number that just stands out from the rest as very, very special. And I think that the TYCE DIORIO contemporary number performed by Melissa and the Day to This Woman's Work by Maxwell is that number for this season. I can personally relate to it because of the fact that there are people in my family who have been hit with the cancer stick, and they've all, thank God, survived their ordeal. So the dance definitely affected me. And it's very, very seldom that you will see the entire or almost the entire line of judges in tears from having watched something so beautiful and expressive as this dance. As powerful as the piece was before from Brandon JEANINE that LAURIEANN GIBSON created, this one just totally eradicated memories of anything that came before because it was just that profound. And unfortunately, because TYCE does not have a real strong fan club around a lot of viewers, some people tended to look at this with a little more of a jaundiced and cynical eye because it came from TYCE, and also because of his reactions to the comments last night that maybe he was putting on a little more theatrical tears than people would appreciate. But I'm not going to look at it that way because of the fact that I do know people who were personally affected with breast cancer, and I appreciated the piece for that. And I thought that Melissa and Ade did a stellar job on it. Unfortunately, because of what I said before, the dancers having to serve the piece well and not the other way around. I love Melissa doing this. I love Ade assisting her and carrying her through what was depicted within the dance. Unfortunately, because of the lack of strength of most of her solos, I still think that Melissa could be gone tonight, so it's unfortunate, but hey, you know, it does happen. Following that, the final solo from Brandon was performed to Ain't Nothing Wrong With That by Robert Randolph and the Family Band. That's one of my favorite songs. It's a jam. And I think Brandon jammed very well to it. Although there are aspects of his personality that I still find to be a real turnoff. Even though I think he will still place in that final three for the title, I don't think he's going to win it. I think if it comes down to people voting their favorite, it's down to, I would say, KAYLA on the girl's side, Evan on the guy's side. And speaking of KAYLA, the final couple was KAYLA and Jason performing a hip-hop created by Shane Sparks to They're Everywhere by SYTYCD. Never heard of him before, but I won't forget him after this. Obviously, the dance was influenced by Michael Jackson's Thriller, although I think it kind of stood on its own as a really, really unique, very good, and kind of frightening piece, if I'm going to be honest. But Jason and KAYLA did this very well. KAYLA really just knocked out of the ballpark. And Jason was very good as a zombie, but once again, going back to his solo, I just don't think that was going to be enough to save him in terms of staying in the competition. So when all is said and done, I'm going to have to stick with my gut instinct and say that it's going to be Jason and Melissa going home tonight. And that wraps us up for week 7, performance night 7 of So You Think You Can Dance. Tonight, of course, is the celebration for the 100th show, if you can believe that. Katie Holmes is performing a Judy Garland tribute, as far as I understand. Let's see how this turns out. And I'm also looking forward to possibly seeing, I'm pretty sure they'll do this, they're going to run clips of some of the best numbers from previous seasons and previous episodes. And I also understand that Rhumba is going to make another appearance, and Wade Robson is going to be leading the dancers on that. And having seen him do it on clips from YouTube, it's something definitely to look forward to. If there's nothing else in the show that stands out, that definitely will. So tonight we'll see who gets said packing. And in the meantime, everybody have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to y'all next week. We are coming down to the wire, kids. I think there's like 2 weeks left, and we'll finally have our answer as to who is going to be America's favorite dancer. So until then, take care and have a good one.